There's something wrong with me.
I think there is a lot of meat to this movie.
An emptiness.
And there's something that I want to discuss as well. There's a moment in Thunderbolts, subtle, almost blink and you miss it, when Robert Reynolds, Bob, the Sentry, the Void, quickly states, "You can't outrun the emptiness."
You can't outrun the emptiness.
It's an interesting line, right? A response to Yelena's line much prior to "Bury it."
You shove it way down. You just push it down.
Something Bucky later retorts as well, saying that the past doesn't go away.
Sooner or later it catches up to you, and when it does, it's too late.
Then you have to face it.
So you can either do something about it now, or live with it forever.
It's these statements to me that provide the backbone for the Thunderbolts thesis, a commentary on our shadow. This isn't just a superhero movie about misfits saving the world, it's a film about facing your demons, your shadow, literally, metaphorically, mythically. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, defined the shadow as the unconscious part of the self that we repress, the instincts, desires, memories we consider unacceptable. It's not evil per se, it's simply just what we hide. The shadow is not a villain in a story, it's a part of us we're afraid is the villain. In Thunderbolts, the shadow is not just a metaphor, it's embodied in trauma, guilt, failure, and most clearly in the antagonist, the Void. The Void here is the literal Jungian shadow, the unintegrated dark self of the Sentry. It's a being of darkness and entropy, but more than that, it's truth, but without mercy. That's why it's consuming in its nature. It forces the characters to confront not just what they've done, but what they've buried. So when the Void emerges in the third act, he doesn't just attack, he also reveals. He makes each member of the team see visions, hallucinations from their own subconscious. I'm sure Bucky saw all sorts of pleasant things, right?
Oh, I'm fine. I have a great past, so I'm totally fine.
A little bit of me wishes we got to see what the others hallucinated, but the most important ones lies with Yelena, reliving the Red Room, and her experiences as a burgeoning spy. This is where Thunderbolts becomes more than just action, it becomes allegory. The team is not just fighting evil, they're working through it. They're in therapy, violent, explosive therapy, but therapy nonetheless. Every step taken in the Void is a metaphor for integration. For Jung, the goal of confronting the shadow isn't destruction, it's synthesis. To become whole, the self must absorb what it fears, not reject it. In other words, you can't fight your shadow into submission. You must make the unconscious conscious. You must bring the shadow into the light, not by domination, but by acknowledgement. This theme is especially personified in the character of Bob. Introduced as a mystery, Bob is not just a new superpowered entity, he's a fragmented soul, a survivor of abuse, addiction, and unethical experiments. Yet another attempt at making a super soldier. Man, they really don't learn, do they? Bob suffers from a fractured identity.
There's a high, and there's a big low, and then my memory just goes blank.
His power isn't just physical, it's psychic. He can access repressed memories, so when he and Yelena touch, they don't just connect, they share trauma. He's a literal conduit to the shadow itself, to the Void.
And then it starts to feel a little bit like
A void.
What's crazy is Bob isn't just repressed darkness, he's also repressed good. Let me explain. As the film notes, and as Jung understood, we often bury not just the bad, but the parts of ourselves we believe we don't deserve.
I know it's been hard since Olivia left you and took your kid, but still.
Joy, empathy, love.
This is on you.
Bob's softness, his timidity you could say, can be seen as weakness, but it's a defense mechanism, a coping persona.
You always thought of yourself as a victim.
When Valentina manipulates him into becoming the Sentry, feeding him delusions of grandeur, she isn't just empowering him, she's unleashing his shadow unchecked.
Let's focus on you and how perfect you are.
To add on to that, when Valentina activates the kill switch in his mind, it doesn't eliminate the problem, it removes the last mask. The shadow, the Void, takes full control. From here on out, our heroes find that the only salvation now is not with suppression, but healing, facing it. Look, let's get vulnerable just for a second. Here's something I want to do with you for a moment. Let's start to figure out a part of our shadow together. Start to understand our voids a little better, you could say. I want you to pick a question and have a go at answering it. Maybe, what traits in another person annoy you or irritate you the most? Now, is that something that you can see within yourself? What part of yourself do you try and hide from others? What emotions am I uncomfortable expressing? Even gratitude, perhaps. How well can you take a compliment? Do you deflect and compliment back? Now, here's a real doozy. What kind of life would you live if no one judged you? Are you already living it? If not, why? Honestly, just pick any of these and give it a crack answering below. Better yet, if you have any insight to anyone's shadow in the comments, give them a reply, even just empathize or sympathize, and let them know that you've been there too. But yeah, for a little more insight, let's just quickly understand Jung's model of how the psyche itself is structured. Carl Jung's model of the psyche is structured like an iceberg. What we know of ourselves, our ego, our persona, floats above the surface. But beneath that lies the vast unconscious, the personal unconscious, made up of forgotten memories and repressed feelings, and deeper still, the collective unconscious, archetypes inherited from all of human history. Now, the shadow resides in the personal unconscious. It's born in the moment we begin to construct a self-image. Every time we tell ourselves, "Oh, I'm not that," the part we reject slips into the shadow. Over time, it becomes a psychic weight, unseen but influential. So we become what we run away from. The shadow isn't just a container for darkness, it's a mirror to our wholeness, and integration in Jungian terms means illuminating that darkness, making it known. This is the path towards what Jung called individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole, the integrated man. Now, to confront the shadow is to confront contradiction itself. It's to admit that the things we despise in others often live dormant within ourselves. That's why we can see an irritating behavior in others. It's because we carry that ability too. In Thunderbolts, this plays out not just with Bob, but across the team. Bucky, the former assassin, wants peace but cannot let go of guilt. There's guilt thrusting him into action. Yelena wants to move on but remains chained to the identity forged in the Red Room. Even Valentina, a character built on control and secrecy, is confronted with visions that strip away her armor. Each is forced to reconcile with the thing they've buried. And here's the paradox. The more that they fight it, the stronger it becomes. The shadow thrives in suppression. Only when seen, truly seen, can it begin to lose its power. Look, in the climax, Yelena understands this. That's why she literally steps into her shadow. Through her own integration, her own reckoning with herself, she understands the void isn't going to be beaten into submission. It will only make Bob's shadow larger.
Stop! This is what you want!
She understands the only way forward is for Bob to accept himself, love himself enough to be better than his traumas and self-hate. That's really potent stuff. He needs to understand that there are people around him that love him, that want the best for him. In the end, he does accept it, kind of. See, he has a lot of work to do to become the Jungian archetype, the integrated self.
Can't be the Sentry without the, other side.
But it's nice to see that each Thunderbolt faces their shadow, and through it they begin to heal. It's messy, it's imperfect, but it's real, and that's what healing often looks like. But here's the thing about the shadow, it's not meant to be annihilated, it's meant to be known. And Thunderbolts gets that. It's a story about a group of broken people realizing that their pain doesn't make them weak, their denial does. The Void isn't just a villain, it's the catalyst. He doesn't destroy the Thunderbolts, he shows them who they are.
You walked into a room, you made it brighter. You felt a lot of joy.
And that's what makes this movie quietly profound. Beneath the Marvel tropes we've come to expect lies something rare for the genre, a sincere attempt to dramatize internal growth.
Daddy, I'm so alone. I don't have anything anymore.
Look, in the Thunderbolts, character growth is about standing in front of the worst parts of yourself and just not flinching. It's choosing to understand and not suppress, and for a franchise often that avoids discomfort with quips and spectacle, Thunderbolts is daring just for even trying this. Thunderbolts is Marvel's most overtly psychological film, literally adapting psychological concepts into reality. Whilst it has a few things to say, it's truly great because of what it reveals, that the scariest villain isn't out there in the world, it's usually inside of us, and sometimes the bravest thing a hero can do is just look inward.